Hello, Integrated Math 1. Welcome to lesson E.1-3B, where we're doing day 2 of our literal equations and formulas. And we talked about how a literal equation was called a literal equation because it stands for things, right? Those variables aren't just variables. They actually mean something in the real world, like we were playing with distance equals rate times time, right? D equals R times T. That's a literal equation. It means something in the real world, right? So we played with those a bit last time. We're going to play with a few more today. So we're on day 2 of our lesson, and we're on page 19 if you have the book available. So if you'll take a look, example 3, a worker at a framing store is making a rectangular frame. He knows that the perimeter of the frame is 144 inches and the length is 40 inches. How can he determine the width of the frame? So let's take it back to last time. We actually kicked it off with perimeter last time. Do you remember the formula that we wrote down last time for perimeter? It was P equals 2L plus 2W, right? That was how we started our lesson last time. So I'm actually going to use this formula. Let me grab my pen. There it is. I'm going to grab my pen here. So I'm going to use this formula and I'm going to solve my equation for W, right? When it says write it in terms of W, or we're solving for W. So I'm going to take my P equals 2L plus 2W, and I'll start by subtracting 2L from both sides so that these will cancel out. So I now have P minus 2L equals 2W. To get my W completely alone and solve for W, I'll go ahead and divide both sides by 2. So that's gone, yay. And now I have P minus 2L over 2 equals W. So now I've solved for W. And this is great because now I can plug this in. So the perimeter formula in terms of W is W equals P minus 2L, or twice perimeter, minus twice the length divided by 2. And so my next step then is to use this literal equation to solve for W when P is 144 and L is 40. So I'm just going to plug in what I know, right? We've gone to the trouble to find this formula. I know my perimeter is 144, so we'll plug that in. I know the length, right? We even have the picture here. The length is 40 inches, so I'm going to plug that in as well. And then it's just a matter of doing a little bit of work. 144 times 2 times 40. Ooh, we should multiply those. So 2 times 40 is, of course, 80. And then we finish it off. So I grab a calculator. 144 minus 80 equals 64. So this right here gives us 64. And of course, 64 divided by 2 gives us 32. We should answer the question, how can you determine the width of the frame? Oh, well, the width of the frame is 32 inches. Yep, that's what we're looking at there. Awesome. So in this case, we actually solved for the variable we were looking for, and then I was able to just plug in what I knew to find my answer. It's kind of a cool trick. So with that in mind, with that idea of let's solve for the variable we're looking for and then plug in what we know to find our answer, can you do the try it? Just below example 3 on page 19, there's your lovely little try it. I would like you to try out question number 3. Go ahead and hit pause to work this out and then hit play when you're ready to check your work. So we're actually asked to do 2 things, right? The first thing we're asked to do is to write the formula for the area of the triangle, which you know is A equals 1/2 base times height, in terms of H. So I want to take this formula and I want to solve for H. I want to get the H all alone on his own. Wow, sorry, my pen's being funky. So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of that 1/2. I don't like the 1/2. It's kind of freaking me out. That's like 1 divided by 2. So instead of dividing by 2, I can multiply both sides by 2. And so when we do that, of course, these guys cancel out, which is why we did it. So I now have 2a equals bh. Ooh, but I need to get that h alone. Well, this is B times H. So I'm going to get rid of it by dividing by B. And if you do it to one side, you have to do it to the other so that these will cancel out. So now it looks like I found the formula in terms of H. Yeah. So that means the formula for the area of a triangle in terms of H is H equals 2A over B. Remembering that H is the height, A is the area, B is your base. Oh, so now let's find the height. Okay, great. Let's find the height. We're going to use our formula, H equals 2A over B. I know that my area is 18 inches squared, and I know my base is 9 inches, so we'll just plug those in there. And we'll do a little bit of work. 2 times 18, I got a calculator here, is 36. Divided by 9 is 4. This is H, which is our height, right? That's our height. So we better remember our units. It looks like it will be in inches. The height of the triangle is 4 inches. If you're struggling a little bit with the units, please remember that this was inches squared divided by inches. You could even think of it as inches times inches divided by inches, in which case one of them cancels out and you're just left with inches. Yay! Let's go to example 4. If you flip the page over to page 20, that takes us to example 4. Now, we've had this issue before. This is not the first time we've come across this whole issue of going between degrees Celsius and degrees Fahrenheit. So according to Teo's bread recipe, he should bake the bread at 190 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. Problem is, if he's in the US, he's got an oven that doesn't do degrees Celsius. His oven measures temperature in degrees Fahrenheit because that's kind of what we do here. So to what temperature in degrees Fahrenheit should he set his oven? So let's take a look. I have this lovely equation here. The only thing is, I'm not trying to find C. I have C. I'm trying to find F. So you know what I think we should do? I think we should take this formula and let's rewrite the formula to find the Fahrenheit temperature. It's equal to 190 degrees. So I'm going to solve for F. I'm going to take this equation. We're going to solve it for F. Now, fractions are freaking me out, man. 5 over 9, I don't like that 5 over 9. So here's what we're going to do. I can get rid of 5/9. It's being multiplied, so we undo it with division. The only thing is we don't divide with fractions. We multiply by the reciprocal. So here's what you're going to do. When you encounter something like this, and you're like, I need that 5/9 to go away, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to multiply by 9 over 5, and we'll do it to both sides. There you go. Because now, those cancel out, and we just have F minus 32, which is perfect. Except we're not quite done yet because my F is not alone. So I'm going to go ahead and add 32 to both sides to get that to go away. So I'm going to add 32 to both sides, and that makes these guys cancel out. That's why we did it. And yeah, now I have the formula. 9/5 C plus 32 equals F. Hooray! So we've solved for F. That's awesome. Now we need to actually find our answer, right? So I'm going to use the formula for F to find the Fahrenheit temperature equivalent to 190 degrees Celsius. So instead of C, I'm going to plug in 190. Yeah. Please, please, please remember our few little tricks. Remember that we multiply with fractions and we divide by the top. So we multiply with the numerator, we divide out the denominator. So if you have a calculator, you'll do 190 times 9. So if we multiply these guys, that gives us 1,710. And then we'll divide by 5. So divide by 5. And if we do that, then we end up with 342. Add 32, and we get 374. All right, sweet. So Teo should set the oven to 374 degrees Fahrenheit, which is good because you don't want to burn your bread. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. So now that you've got this lovely formula of converting degrees Celsius, degrees Fahrenheit, I got a new problem for you. Just below example 4, there's a little try it problem on page 20. Number 4, the high temperature on a given winter day is 5 degrees Fahrenheit. What is the temperature in degrees Celsius? Hit pause, see if you can work this out. Hit play when you're ready to check your work. So the last problem, we got it to be F equals because we're trying to find Fahrenheit. But for this problem, I want to know what C is. So I want the C equals version of the equation. I want it before we did all the crazy stuff to it. Because now I can plug in order to find C, I just need to plug in for F. So instead of F, I will plug in a 5. I have a calculator here. 5 minus 32 is negative 27. Awesome. Please remember that we multiply with the top and we divide out the bottom. So 5 times the negative 27 is negative 135. If I divide that by 9, I get negative 15. Oh my gosh. Well, 5 degrees Fahrenheit is cold. It's cold. It's cold. And it turns out that temperature in Celsius is negative 15 degrees Celsius. It's cold. It's really cold. As always, guys, I hope you found this helpful. I hope you found this useful. If you got questions or concerns, let me know, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.